Happy Mushoku Sundays, everybody. It is Sunday. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 2 is here. It is finally here. And man, I have some misgivings. At the same time, I'm really excited this series is coming back. And I have to make a couple things clear beforehand. My impressions, these impression videos I'm going to be doing weekly for Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, the anime, is going to be based on my knowledge of somebody that has read up to Volume 12. So I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to keep to essentially what the show is doing, what my thoughts are on it, at the same time giving some perspective on things that are obviously skipped, things that they really can't go back and do anything with it unless they do like somebody thinks about something and it flashbacks. But yeah, for this first episode, honestly, I have my fears. I am going to be perfectly honest. I do have my fears. I came into this kind of expecting that it was going to be a little bit downgraded from the first season, and that is already showing, especially the CGI crowds. Woof, the CGI crowds. But I still enjoyed it. I still did enjoy it. I think they are taking a lot of initiatives on changing things around, and I think that's where I have fears, but at the same time, I have sort of some positivity to say about it. Honestly, when I watched Season 1, I watched it without any context to the light novels. And then I read the light novels, and I realized all the stuff that was sort of skipped. But the thing that I learned about that was that it seemed to make sense why a lot of the stuff was skipped. Now, there's certain aspects that I really did not like them skipping. One being Therese. I think that whole segment being skipped was a massive loss. There's also aspects like a lot of the insights into the Superbs themselves. It really did feel like Season 1 was kind of wrapped around this idea of let us tell Rudius' story and not focus so much on the outside. But I think, obviously, with the beginning of this second season, I knew they were going to go back and get into Fitz, because you need to. I think that Ariel is going to probably be a very important character. Based on what I have read, she is an important character. So it makes sense that even though it's not centered on Rudius, this episode is important. We have to establish what is happening with certain characters and who Ariel is. Now, the big WTF for a lot of people that have read the novel series and then are now watching Season 2 is obviously they didn't shy away from it. Opening up this episode, we jump right to Ariel, which is fine. We get a perspective that Ariel is essentially Derek, who is one of her guards, is trying to push her to becoming queen. And I don't really necessarily believe they did a good job of sort of portraying that aspect. I think a lot around Derek and his ambitions for Ariel was completely lost with the adaptation. Essentially, in the novel, what they were sort of trying to hint here is that Derek really badly wants Ariel to take the crown, because he feels like this kingdom, the kingdom of Asura, is failing. Everybody's comfortable. All the nobles are super comfortable, and they're indulging and everything, and he has fears that the outside kingdoms are going to come in and destroy it. Because these other kingdoms, they're building up. They're getting stronger. And while Asura does have strength, and they've kind of solidified themselves currently, eventually their self-indulgence is going to lead to them being destroyed. So he wants Ariel, who he believes has the ability to capture people's hearts. She's a good leader. She can do it. But Ariel doesn't want to do it because, one, she doesn't want to get killed by her brother. And two, because she likes self-indulgence. She likes just having a simple life. And we see through Derek's perspective as he's hearing about assassination attempts, and he's fearful for Ariel, and this whole issue happens. This displacement incident teleports this boar into the middle of this area, and it kills Derek. In his dying breath, though, which again, they completely skip, I think this is super sad. Derek's dying breath, he tells Ariel, please, become queen. Do what I wanted you to do. And she promises him, at that point, he promises him that she will do that. This is Ariel's whole inspiration. This is what pushes her to finally take the crown. That's what starts everything. But yes, following this, Sophie arrives, and they don't even hide it. They don't even hide the fact that this is Sophie. In the novel series, we just hear that this white-haired person shows up, saves Ariel, and it's Fitz. But no, in the anime, they're just not even going to bother, which sort of makes sense because it's a visual medium and it's going to be very hard not to, I guess, hide that connection. But no, this is pretty much in Volume 5. Season 1 ended in 6. And in that introduction, we just know that there's this person with white hair that's hanging around Ariel and protecting Ariel. We had no idea that it is Sophie. But yeah, like I said, okay, okay, we're not gonna hide it. Let's move on. But yeah, I'm very mixed on how they portrayed Silent Fitz so far. Guardian Fitz is sort of a character in the novel series that was very cold, very calm. Yes, inner dialogue proved that they didn't like a lot of what the nobles were saying about them and everything. Had those misgivings of their position, and yes, was concerned about their family. Additionally, had this person that trained them in everything they did, but never specifically says who they are, who they lost, and who their master is. Yes, that sort of gives you that little indication, oh, this is probably Sophie, but never really specifically stated. And again, based on appearance, very different. But it seemed like the anime sort of kept Sophie's nature intact. Very timid, very scared, trying to be strong. The only point in which we see that Fitz is strong is when they take out the assassin coming after Ariel. But the rest of the episode, Fitz seems kind of normal, I guess is the best way to put it. Not weak, just normal. Scared, unsure. And why I say that I'm mixed on this portrayal of Fitz is because on one hand, it's not what I felt in the novel. I felt cold-blooded. Fitz literally killed many, many assassins. Here we're only seeing Fitz take out one. Fitz was seen as a cold-blooded killer. People feared Fitz. And I think the only reason I think this is a bad portrayal is because later on, there's so much emphasis put on how much Fitz makes people afraid of Ariel. Fitz is powerful. Fitz is unstoppable. Fitz is mysterious. We don't know where Fitz came from. And how does Ariel have control over Fitz? It's a key element of Ariel's strength. So that's why I fear that this is kind of portraying it incorrectly. Why I think it's a good portrayal is because I did have a little bit of a jarring feeling going, wait, so this is Sophie? I don't see Sophie becoming a cold-blooded killer like that. Yes, again, there is a little bit of a buildup in the novel, but it kind of throws you right into who Fitz became. Who is Fitz? And so we're not really getting that in the anime. And I kind of wonder if that is on purpose, again, to not have it jarring later on. But no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, we get the introduction to Ariel. Ariel is doing her daily routine. We see that her brother doesn't like her, thinks that she's conspiring. She is technically. She's working with Paimon to essentially try to... Again, it's one of those things that it's not really explained completely, but essentially, Ariel is using Paimon to gather all the people that are in the low nobles. Yes, technically, her brother has control over all the high nobles, all the nobles of high status. They're not going to go follow Ariel. She's the weakest. That's a death sentence. But Ariel has the ability to capture the commoner, capture the everybody, capture the low nobles that are in the outskirts that nobody cares about. The prince doesn't care about a low noble. She's capturing those people. And while it emphasizes a little bit based on her song, the main key thing that is emphasized early with Ariel is that she has a voice that captures people. They hear her and they immediately fall in love with her. She just has that tone. And sadly, it's something they sort of skip later on is when she leaves the kingdom, this is shown. This is shown in that the commoners do support her no matter what their higher-ups say. Because she's there, she has a presence. She goes to ceremonies. Every guard, every watch, every watchman, everybody knows Ariel. They don't know her brother because he's not there with the lowly people. But again, the other odd thing that happens in this whole scene where they're portraying this in her song, which again, ugh, CGI, the crowd CGI, damn it. Focus, Andrew. The other thing they portray here is Fitz struggling with what the other nobles are saying. But it never talked about Fitz stumbling and falling over in the middle of a crowd and running into people. That was, again, another thing that sort of, I guess, emphasizes that insecurity, but also emphasizes weakness, that she wasn't able to keep her composure, which is never really technically portrayed in the novels. But yeah, eventually we get to see the prince, and he's working with Darius in order to nip it in the bud, take care of Ariel, get rid of her. They know that she's essentially gathering people. She could possibly do a coup, and so they just want to get rid of her. And yes, whatever assassin was with Darius apparently was the assassin in the room, which I kind of assumed it was something that was very vague in the novel series. I assumed that because it went from this girl on Darius's lap to this girl attacking Ariel, but it was never specifically said. But we cut to the night where Ariel invites Sophie to her room. It did a good job portraying what was sort of happening in this scene. Yes, Ariel is having fun with Fitz, messing around with Fitz. She gets a kick out of teasing her. If you didn't guess it, but yes, they're implying that Ariel likes women, likes to mess with the women. That was the whole scene in the garden, was her talking about different type of women down there. But that wasn't her intent. In the end, it was really just to kind of find comfort in each other. Because yes, Ariel is dealing with this death of Derek. They both share a commonality. And that's what sort of Fitz and Ariel are kind of figuring out here, is that they have a commonality. They both have this fear and this nightmare from that day. And so they can kind of find comfort in each other. But then yes, they get attacked by the assassin, which was really cool scene. Fight scene itself was really awesome. But there is one thing that they didn't really portray in this scene, is that the fact that the assassins often carry poison. And poison is extremely lethal. This stuff takes an effect and you're dead unless you can detoxify yourself. And they didn't show that. Literally, when she shields Ariel, she gets hit by a poison blade and she has to detoxify herself very quickly, otherwise she'll die. And so she does that. And again, they don't really show it. Not a big deal, but it technically is sort of important later on. And then that cuts to Ariel having to leave the kingdom, and Sophie decides to go with her. Now, I know I'm jumping back and forth between Fitz and Sophie. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to say Sophie or not, because again, I'm so used to when I'm talking about this segment, it's Fitz, and now it's like this anime is completely just saying yeah, it's Sophie. But no, it's Sophie deciding to follow Ariel, which is technically a new scene. This is sort of a driving force of Sophie that we don't really establish until later, but you assume that it's the case because she's following Ariel. They are friends, and she wants to support Ariel. Now, what they don't show is essentially the travel itself, which I think is very unfortunate, because again, I think the travel itself indicates how much influence Ariel has on the people. So they're traveling, and of course, she's being attacked constantly. There was word that she was going to go to the University of Magic and enroll there, and that was a cover-up for the fact that she's literally trying to flee from countless assassinations that, again, Sophie took out. And after many assassination attempts, she eventually arrives at the checkpoint to be able to leave the country. And she was supposed to be stopped, taken to a nearby village, and killed. But thankfully, again, the Watchmen knew her. Everybody knew her, and they adored her. They wanted her to be the queen. And so instead of listening to their orders, they said, oh, go on by. They let her by. Every knight at that post wanted her to be let by. Again, it's not massively significant to the story. It's not like I'm mad that they didn't include it, but it does give you that feel that these people loved Ariel. But unfortunately, all what we get is her walking through the mountains with just Luke and Sophie. She had lots of retainers, and yes, she lost most of them, but there was still Elmoy, Blue Wolf, and Cleane Elrond. So it's not just the three of them. So I hope that doesn't mean that they're just going to completely remove those two characters. Other than that, some other notes that I made is I found it very interesting that Sophie never really thinks about Rudius. In the novel, as Fitz, they're constantly thinking about their master. Their master taught them so many things. What would their master do here? And additionally, always carrying the rod given to them by their master. I don't think I ever seen the rod. Additionally, yes, I didn't mention it earlier, but yes, I didn't watch The Fall. I was told, do not watch The Fall. It spoils something for way later in the novel, so I completely skipped it. I did see the impact, and the impact was amazing. The bam, right on top of it thing, that was really, really good. It wasn't what I envisioned in the novel, but it was still really cool. I mean, for the most part, the episode didn't look terrible. Like I said, I kind of agree with a lot of people that it's sort of on par with like later parts of the second core. I don't think that it's still way better than most qualities of most anime out there. It still has a lot of detail to it. Still has that kind of filter to it, which is, you know, some people like, some people don't like. I'm kind of mixed on it. I'm kind of so used to it at this point, it's just kind of, it's natural. But I will admit that it looks way more simple. I mean, if you look at the first episode of the first season, you'll see a significant difference. And again, just a lot of the choices and shots, like why when Ariel's standing in front of the crowd of people at the ceremony, why are they all CGI? They're so close up. Why do they have to not be drawn? There's just choices like that already where I'm like, I just don't think that this season's going to be amazing quality like it typically is, which hurts me because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting amazing visual. There's nothing wrong for wanting better quality. And so I have that a little bit of sadness there, but at the same time, it doesn't take away the fact that I still have the novel series, and it's just, you're never going to get a perfect adaptation. My theories is that once they got past the first season, they realized it wasn't making massive amounts of money, but they still want to complete the whole thing, so they're kind of dialing things back. Now they're going to have OPs and EDs to kind of fill in the gaps and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on the first episode 0 of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. No spoilers beyond the season. We'll just keep it within the episodes themselves. I don't want people spoiling things later. Don't talk about what happened with Sophie when she's falling. I don't want to know. But additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button's got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. I will be covering this on a weekly basis because I just love Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation that much. Also, additionally, if you're a fan of the novel series, or if you want to check out the novel series, I do Mushoku Mondays every single Monday where I go through the novel series. We are currently on Volume 12, which is predicted to be pretty much the last volume they'll cover for the second season, so it's ahead. But you can watch all my previous ones and get caught up. But I thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to support this channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, and membership button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.